Hey comic book fans, this is Leila here from the Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we've got Batman Widening Gyre number 1 of 6. It's written by Kevin Smith and the art is Walter Flanagan. Batman fights a villain from the past and Dick puts him onto a case that leads him into Arkham Asylum and to the side of Poison Ivy. I gotta say, this story kind of sucked up to the point where they get to Arkham Asylum. There's this whole sort of Act 1 that's with a different villain that, you know, while funny, didn't really interest me at all. But the whole Arkham Asylum stuff was really good, and it really felt like a Batman book to me at that point. And interestingly enough, that's also when the art picked up. It picked up right when they got to Arkham. I really liked how Poison Ivy was drawn and Killer Croc. But other than that, I can't really say I recommend this book, but I'm sure that Kevin Smith fans will buy it, and hopefully all 6 of them will actually come out in a timely manner. Let's hope. Next up, Sweet Tooth, number 1, written and drawn by Jeff Lemire. In this one, a little boy that's sort of a deer-human hybrid is trying to survive a plague that already took his mother and threatens to take his father. He appears to be immune, but there are other dangers beyond the edge of the forest. This is a pretty interesting story. It was heartbreaking and intriguing. The art is simple yet effective. It was, you know, a very different post-apocalyptic book. I gotta say, it was pretty interesting, and for the price tag, it's definitely worth picking it up to give it a try. It was a good read. Next up, we've got Marvel Zombies The Return, number 1 of 5, written by Fred Van Lent with art by Nick Dragotta. In this one, Zombie Spider-Man is displaced through time and space into a familiar story, sort of. The Kingpin is trying to get his hands on a tablet that may hold the key to eternal life, and he's hired the Sinister Six to sort of create a diversion while he steals it. So Spidey knows all about this plan, and he feels like maybe if he got to the tablet first, this might break the zombie curse forever, and he's sort of motivated to do that. But he gets sort of tied up with the Sinister Six, and has a hard time just fighting them without, you know, giving into the hunger. And chaos sort of ensues from there. I gotta say, I really enjoyed this book. This is probably the best Marvel Zombies book that I've read. Of course, it's really gory, but it's really heart-wrenching at times, and, you know, does have some pretty serious stuff to say. So I thought it was really well done. If you like, you know, gory books that have sort of a sense of humor about themselves, then this is a definite one to pick up. And last but not least, we've got The Torch, number 1 of 8. This is written by Alex Ross and Mike Carey, and the artist is Patrick Birkencotter. And this one, the story follows Tom Raven, who's also known as Toro, who has been brought back to life by Buffy and the Cosmic Cube, only to find that the life that he knew no longer exists. So left in despair, he decides to seek out the man who killed him in the first place. Meanwhile, the Thinker is hired by AIM to create a weapon, which leads to a discovery about the source of Toro's power. This book was pretty good. I really enjoyed the writing. It was a really good story, tied into some classic Marvel heroes. The artist is sort of really inspired by Alex Ross, you can see that. So if you like Alex Ross's work, then you're probably going to like this. It's not as, I don't know, defined and as vibrant, but it definitely has the same kind of look to it, so if you enjoy that kind of art, then you won't be disappointed in this book, so grab it.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic reviews. First off, Gold Digger number 110, written and drawn by Fred Perry. And in this one, after Gina accidentally misfiles her papers, her students find themselves in a very dangerous situation on the site of an ancient deadly battle. Another fun issue, not the greatest Fred Perry work, but pretty fun. There's some really nice 80s references in this one, so it's not a bad issue of Gold Digger, but not the best either. Next up, Fallout Toy Works, number 1, written by Brett Lewis with art by Sam Bostry. In this one, a brilliant young toy maker risks his entire company for his newly produced android named Tiffany. She soon becomes his greatest passion, but also could lead to his destruction. Now this book is based on the music and lyrics of Fall Out Boy. So if you're a fan of that, which I'm not, then you might enjoy it. I did actually enjoy the comic a lot. The art's really nice, the story's pretty good, but it also reminded me a lot of Skydoll. So if you're a fan of that, this also might be a good book for you to try out. It's not horrible, it's not bad. It's just mediocre at best. But for a first issue, it's not half bad. And last but not least, Buffy number 28, written by Jane Espenson, with art by George Jante. And in this one, the Slayers and Wiccan troops attempt to suppress dangerous magics through meditation and hard labor, but most are unsure if that will solve any of their problems. And we finally get to see what happens when Buffy and Xander actually talk to each other about their feelings. It's only taken, what, about 15 years or so? But not a bad issue, really good story, very good art. I'm really enjoying Buffy so far, and if you're a Buffy fan, this is a must.